Decentralized Pictures Talent Cast. I am your host, Matt. In studio today, we have acclaimed filmmaker and co founder of Decentralized Pictures, Roman Coppola. Roman is here to award that film I made as featured on the Decentralized Pictures platform. This award received 106 entries. That is some fierce competition. And the winner will receive $2,500 plus mentorship from Roman to work on their next project. Criteria for this award was it had to be a film or music video at least 2 minutes in duration, completed in the last 5 years, and shows the filmmaker's unique, creative, and personal voice. Roman's done a little bit of everything: cinematography, writing, directing, producing, acting. He's also the creator of the Directors Bureau, a BAFTA and Oscar nominee, and a Golden Globe winner. Roman, thank you so much for joining us on the Talent Cast.
Great. Thank you so much for having me and for all your support and your enthusiasm about DCP. Really appreciate it.
Of course, of course. Well, before we dive into the award, let's talk a little bit about Roman, kind of what you've been up to and what's kind of been keeping you busy in the filmmaking world.
Well, thanks for asking. I have a pretty diverse career. My path is one that's led by my curiosity. So things come my way, and people approach me, or I'll learn about something, and I kind of go here and go there. And so it's funny because you look back as you mature. I don't know if mature is the right word for me, but as you age, at least, and you see, God, where am I going? What does this all add up to? And it's curious because it's not a direct path. DCP, for example, is something, Leo, the other co-founder, shared insights about what the blockchain could do, and we started daydreaming, and that became a project I became very involved with. And then a colleague such as Wes Anderson is someone who says, I have an idea for something. What do you think? And we start to work on that. My sister involves me, and I have my other film that I'm preparing. So a lot of different things. But in summary, Wes has a new film. It's called The Phoenician Scheme, and it's it's in post, and so that's something that's coming soon for at some point next year. And I have a film I'm preparing. I'm not really ready to talk about that, but I'm hoping that I'll be shooting that next year. And I do different spots and commercial type projects and kind of consulting. So a grab bag of stuff. But we're here to talk about new talent or fresh talent. I would often say young filmmakers, but you can be young, old, doesn't matter. Just people who have a voice that's busting out. And so that's what we're here to celebrate.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that background, Roman. So let's dive into it. Let's talk about that film I made. And what was kind of like your inspiration to create the award, and how does that fit within the overall ethos of DCP?
Well, it had a couple of origins. One was we had been doing some grants or prizes, awards, I guess the right word, for finishing funds for people who had made a feature but couldn't quite finish it. We had a documentary themed award and different very specific things. And what appealed to me is just to have a big open grab bag and just say, look, if you made a movie, let's see what you made. And I also wanted to um, kind of encourage more participation, that our system really works well when we have dozens and hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands. If we're so lucky as to have 100,000 entries, our system, the community, the way the voting works and the way the tokenization works, it could handle that. So I wanted to sort of invite a bit of numbers, figuring let's cast the net wide. And so that was kind of why the specifics were really unspecific. If you made something and you feel it really represents a unique voice that you have, I wanted to have it be considered. So that was one. And simply, as a tech project, or it's obviously a film community, and in its soul, it's a place for people to come together and share what they're doing and find colleagues. But even just as a tech element, it's like, how can we run the system to get more people to participate? The tokenization, you have to have a wallet. How do you submit? And just to kind of help kind of grease the wheels to kind of get people more acquainted and learn what we could to support them. So it had a lot of different motivations, but the primary one is just the fun of being a bit of a dare, like, what do you got? Let's see it. If you think you're good, show me. Not in a cynical, challenging way, but in an excited way.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, that's what we're making movies here. It should be fun, and to showcase that fun to the broader audience is the idea here. So great stuff. I appreciate that. And it's amazing with this award and all the other awards, what's happening at DCP, and more are on the horizon to showcase new, innovative talent that's emerging in this space.
Yeah.
All right. So Roman, let's make the announcement. Well, let's make it happen for an excited filmmaker today. So, would you like to make the announcement for the winner?
Yeah. Well, I'll announce the title of the film, and maybe you can help me, because I don't know all the first. I know the first name of the filmmaker, but it's a bit of a team. But I'll announce it right now. And the film is called Anchorage, and it's a very unique, pretty daring film. It's funny, and it's has a vitality. And I have a little prompt here. So the director is Scott Monahan, and it was written by Dakota Loish, excuse me, don't know how to pronounce it. And they worked as a team. They're both, folks who made the movie, and of course, they co-star in it, and one directed, one wrote it. So it's kind of a team effort. But of course, the director is the leader, and I think we have Scott here today to share that news and to congratulate him. And I'd like to talk a little bit more about the movie when there's the right time, but maybe we should invite Scott, or how would you like to proceed?
And there he is, magic. Click of the mouse, and there's Scott.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Excellent. Well, congratulations, and not so much on a prize, but congratulations on making a really dynamic movie that had a lot of unique, what can I say? It's powerful, it's funny, it's artful, and well made on a technical level, and just a lot of things to congratulate you on. So nice job.
Thank you so much. It's an honor for you to say that about our film. I mean, it's really crazy. Sorry, I'm just kind of like taking in this surprise moment here. Yeah, it's exciting to make a movie. And when I saw this award come up of something I could submit to in a way to get a film seen in front of people that really care about films, I said, this would be a great opportunity. So thank you to DCP for giving the opportunity for greater visibility.
And how, just for fun to learn, how did you specifically learn about DCP? Aside from this award, how did you know about our platform? Where were you exposed to it?
I was exposed to it via social media on Instagram stories. A fellow filmmaker friend of mine, Erin Brown Thomas, is a filmmaker, and she runs the Salute Your Shorts Film Festival in Los Angeles. So I saw her post about it, and I was like, what is this? Decentralized Pictures? That sounds interesting. Clicked on it, and I was in this phase with Anchorage where the movie had been out. It's been released on VOD. We had done our theatrical tour, and it was this thing where I was kind of like, people were still asking about it, or I was doing a podcast here and there. And I was like, you know what, this would be a really kind of scary thing to do, is, put your passion, your art, your first feature in front of an audience to be judged. I think that's a scary thing in general, but I was excited and exhilarated by the opportunity of seeing what people thought about it.
Great. Well, you did a fantastic job. And I think the real reason we're here is to share the word. People should be, whoever sees this, hopefully will intrigue them to want to check it out. Is there a place where they can watch it on VOD at the moment? Where would they go to find it?
Yeah, you can find it on Amazon, on Microsoft, YouTube, Apple iTunes. You can basically Google Anchorage movie, and it'll pop up a bunch of different ways to see it in the US and also in the UK right now.
Great. Well, I should mention that we're working on our own streaming platform. We call it DCP Plus at the moment. Cool. And so it's not quite live, but it's very close. So in the future, we are hoping that films that are in our orbit will be able to be seen there. And so anyway, that's
a great idea. I mean, I think that's an area when you guys are talking so much about how much revolution you guys are trying to bring into the industry. I think the distribution and the streaming aspect has changed so much in the past 10 years. And just the ability to be able to have a film that you made in maybe from Ohio or somewhere in, I don't know, Nebraska or wherever, to be able to play in all territories.
Right.
That's kind of what we want, to like that globalization feel of like people being able to see, you know, maybe the desert of California is familiar to people that live in California or Los Angeles. But, you know, when we went to international film festivals with the movie, it was a landscape they hadn't seen before, a side of America they hadn't seen before. That wasn't the glitz and glam. It was the decay and the rubble that exists in the country. So, yeah.
Well, let's take a moment to talk about the movie, you know, because I want people who see this to be intrigued. Tell us about the origin, what inspired you to really do it. Of course, there's always the dream of making a film and all that would be fun, but what kind of was the catalyst that really tipped it over the edge? And here's a little forum to just speak about kind of the theme and the spirit of what you hope comes across.
Yeah, well, so Dakota and I we met each other in this immersive theater scene where we were collaboratively devising plays using movement and text and poetry, starting with nothing and then building a play from it. So rather than starting
Where
with
were
the
you
script,
based out of? Just out of curiosity, because there's always a feeling of
currently Los Angeles.
Well, where did you gestate the project with Dakota?
Oh, Los Angeles, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Because it feels, I mean, in the story you're from Florida, so maybe I was projecting in. But anyway, so you were in LA. Okay, so I interrupted you. So what was the next step to really say we're going to make a movie?
Well, we had done 5 plays together, and we hadn't done a movie together where we were, just the opportunity hadn't came up for us to be in a big movie together. We were in a movie my friend made called Love Shot. We had this little fight scene, and we were on set for his movie, and we were looking around, and it was kind of the first time we were on an indie film set like that. And we were like, dude, we could do this. Like, this is something that you and I could do. And I had a little bit of money, and we were going to make a short film, and we just started kind of getting together and talking about what we were inspired by. Without spoiling the movie, there was a biblical text that was kind of interesting to me. And then Dakota and I had this kind of shared dark kind of past with opioids and addiction, and with family and friends, and this connection to Florida, and also this like very similar love of movies, specific types of movies, you know, like Mikey and Nikki and 2-Lane Blacktop, and these and road pictures as well. And so from that came our idea of like, well, rather than wait for the opportunity of someone the audition to line up or something, why don't we make a thing for ourselves, a project made for us, by us. And we started devising and creating the story from there. And the funny thing is as we were developing this story about these 2 brothers that are driving a trunk full of opioids from Florida all the way to Alaska, to cash in this kind of drug runners El Dorado in the early 2000s. It was this short, and we were supposed to shoot it in the desert, and some scheduling stuff came up with a DP that didn't kind of work out, and we had some more time, and we're like, we've got time. Like, what if we made it into a feature instead? And we started developing that. And then from that, you know, for me as a filmmaker, I think of myself primarily as an actor. I had made 1 short before, maybe 3 years ago. And I think it was part of working in this collaborative community in theater of the roles of a production or the roles of creativity kind of morphing, and you're doing a little stage direction, you're doing a little costume design, you're doing a little like prop design, that it kind of allowed me to have the freedom to say, you know what, I think I could actually step into the role as director here rather than find someone else to explain this vision to.
Right.
Because
Scott, I'm going to interrupt you because I think
please.
You know, we're sort of just having a chat, and hopefully there's a lot of people watching and people thinking I could do this too. But what I want to underline what you said which is meaningful, which is you have a theater background, and that's such a valuable, wonderful place to workshop stuff, as you know, and meet people. But the underlying thing is it's a community, and there's people you can bounce ideas off of, and hey, you have some text, you're an actor, I'm an actor. And that's something we're trying to create virtually. So I'm just kind of celebrating, and you're very lucky that you had a physical place, that you were there. And now I got to figure out how to embed that into our culture, where we could have kind of more workshops or more sort of playtime together, because so many great things come out of that. And that when you said, hey, I could do this, I just want everyone to hear that, because it really it's really possible. In fact, we have this idea. We'll see if we can pull it off. But I want to, because DCP is so virtual, I have this idea for creating a cinema cafe, which would be like a clubhouse, and in Hollywood, and with a library of film scripts and a place people come together, meet up, read through a script. So that's something, hopefully, if anyone's watching this and can like boost it and send comments or send thumbs up to see that happen.
That's an incredible idea.
So we'll see if we can pull it up. But anyway, I interrupted you. But on a technical level, and movies are not about technical stuff, but we do have to manage it and deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you shot an iPhone. Is that true?
No. So the idea, the initial idea was like, yeah. Oh, thank you.
If you shot an iPhone, I'd be really impressed. But how did you get the sort of mechanical components together to do it?
Yeah, I think the idea that for me that really allowed me to step into the role was that I like being in a position of leadership. And part of that is building a team, assembling a team, right? And so we were interviewing some DPs, and we met this DP, Erin Nafee, and she, as soon as we met, we just really clicked in. Mm-hmm. And we took her to the car in our parking lot, and we had told her the story, and I opened the car, and it's an old 1990 Crown Victoria, that has that clink when you open the handle, on the leather seats and the half vinyl top. And she sat in it, and, Dakota said he could see the two of us talking, and there was just this energy between the two of us. And I said to her, I was like, Erin, I don't know anything about lenses, focal lengths, what camera's right. I know there's a difference in digital and film at the time. And she said, Scott, it's my job to translate your vision. That's for me. Like, you don't need to know all those things. Now, of course, it helps. And that's something that I'm still currently learning. But that allowed me to feel like it was okay to say, I don't know. And I think those are the most powerful words you can say, because sometimes I feel like there's a lot of ego of I need to, or even insecurity, like I need to know everything. But by allowing yourself to say, I don't know that, and allowing other people to bring their strengths into your thing, is what really allowed me to feel confident in explaining the vision, being the translator of the dream to the people that would bring in the technical elements. But we shot it on an Arri Amira on Cooke-S Prime lenses. And yeah, just all natural lighting besides the cop scene and the nighttime scene, and a sound guy and a bunch of friends.
Great. Well, it looked beautiful. I was very impressed. And usually, technical stuff doesn't really get me excited too much. It's nice when something is well crafted, but so it was the content and the kind of urgency of it that moved me. But it really did look very good. And what I appreciate about the style is that it has this kind of handmade, often handheld, kind of rough and tumble available light thing. And then in certain instances, it's very controlled, and the camera is fixed and static. And so it had a really nice balance of the way you went about it. I thought that was really well done. So I want to compliment that. What I also want to say is, I'm not sure who's watching this, but presumably other people who entered the contest or the celebration. I hate the contest, feels exclusive. I saw the top tier, all the stuff went into our system, and things were upvoted. And I saw the top, frankly, 11 pieces. So I didn't see every single thing, which is the whole point of DCP, is the community guides. But there were a lot of really wonderful things I saw, very diverse, some animation work, some more playful, some, and I just wanted to compliment the other folks that made stuff because there's a lot of quality. But the reason I selected Anchorage, and for people interested in seeing something fresh, which I think it is that it really spoke to our time. It felt very contemporary. I realized it was made a few years ago, but the opioid crisis and the sort of loopy pattern that could be part of that world, I really felt was evoked in the story. And even the landscape, for those who see it, you're kind of in this place, and you're kind of going ostensibly on a journey forward, but you're kind of right back in the same place throughout. And so I thought that perhaps even the limitation of locations, I mean, you weren't able to go to Florida and Anchorage stuff, but it all clicked and worked in the spirit of the movie, where you kind of felt this burden of, sort of being trapped in this world that kind of reflected, the drug epidemic. And then, and again, these are just compliments and observations, but I thought the humor, the rapport between you and Dakota was so funny and, just wacky. And it really reminded me of, like in my life, best friends, you're driving, you're kind of loopy and driving all night. And it really captured that, which is kind of rare to get that looseness, captured on film. Obviously you and Dakota are tight and have a rapport to that you're interpreting his writing, you're working as a team. What was that like to have a kind of a co-conspirator in this project?
I think that's the thing that made it all possible. I think having an idea on your own is really nice, but you're kind of on an island, right? And the more people that you bring into the project and the more people that you listen to and infuse their ideas into the vision, the more it comes to life. And for him and I, it was just a very clear and easy, like we said, we came from this immersive devised thing where sometimes you were just handed a poem by the director, and on the first day of rehearsal, it's like, all right, perform this in this way. And so we just got really used to kind of releasing the idea of failing and kind of like leaning into the possibility that something could be bad and I think that because we navigate in that space so well, and we had so much experience in that, it was second nature for us on set of knowing how to step in where we needed to, pull back to let the other person shine, and understanding that, sometimes giving the other performer space is the most powerful thing you can do in a scene rather than filling it. And, there was a lot, I think that sometimes people watch the movie and assume that the entire thing was improvised, but most of it was written. And what we would do, which I kind of like got from Elaine Mays, Mikey, and Nikki, is like roll the camera after the scene is over. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in those kind of moments where now we've said the words and we're living in that moment. And that was really where some of the magic of the flee, fly, flow scene and those kind of moments of the film where you're splitting the hair of what is reality in this relationship that we have, and then what is also these characters, and finding that way to infuse the chemistry of us as friends and creators, and then also the dynamics that would then tear these characters in separate directions. So it was really exciting and exhilarating.
Well, it was really well done. Matt, you're here too, and we're just chatting.
I've just been enjoying all of this. I'm just taking it all in.
Do you have anything you want to ask or direct our conversation to get the full benefit? So keep everyone.
So Scott, I always like to ask all the winning filmmakers. I mean, we've had multiple awards that we've had opportunity to present awards similar to this on the platform. And as cliche as it may sound, and I've been saying this on other podcasts, that we're kind of making dreams come true here at Decentralized Pictures. And these are very significant moments for independent filmmakers. So just tell us briefly about kind of the impact. Okay, so you've made this film. It's kind of gone through the film festival circuit. You've won some awards, all good things. But here, and that was then, and now we're here today, just won an award that's supported by an acclaimed filmmaker like Roman Coppola. There's, of course, money attached to it, but in my mind, even more importantly, you now get the mentorship of someone like Roman to support you in the next project. How meaningful is that for you and your team?
It's pretty crazy. It's really meaningful. To give some kind of fun insight, I know it must be because Megalopolis is coming out soon, but also I kind of create from an intuitive place, which is a little less I don't know, maybe structured. And the Alamo Drafthouse was playing Hearts of Darkness and then Apocalypse Now. And I saw Hearts of Darkness, the documentary, 2 days ago, Apocalypse Now, the final cut yesterday. And this is kind of a trilogy moment. And it's been I think that sometimes as a young filmmaker and as an indie filmmaker, breaking into the industry can be very hard, because so much of what we're trying to revolutionize is almost in some ways antithesis to the industry itself. We're not going through the traditional streams of producing or distributing or PR or even marketing. And so I think that sometimes that gap in between desiring like a mentor to help you navigate that transition in a way is something that I've always wanted. And I'm just so kind of sorry. I'm a little, this is everything. So I have this project that I've been thinking about for a long time. And after listening to some podcasts you've done, Roman, and some YouTube videos of things that you talk about your creative style, and even talking about this thing of, what is a creative journey? When you look back, it makes sense. But when you're on it, it kind of feels like you're ping-ponging around. And I feel very aligned in that kind of same thing. So the idea of being able to mentorship with someone that has, in some ways, very similar ways of thinking, just a couple or a generation apart or something.
Great.
Maybe just one.
I can't wait to hear what you're cooking up next. I'd be happy to advise and to give whatever insights I have. And, there is a kind of a tradition in filmmaking or any art form. In fact, it starts with the painters and stuff, but there's always the kind of so-called master, someone who's been around that has experience, and there's younger people that participate and help, interns or whatever you want to call it. Apprentices is the proper term. But I sort of spend a lot of time, especially around my family and my dad, just observing and helping and getting coffee and all that kind of stuff. And then before you know it, you get sort of you absorb a lot by participating in that way. And so anyway, a long-winded way to say I'm happy to kind of celebrate the relationship of someone having kind of been around doing a fair amount of things, and then someone who's enthusiastic and maybe I can share some insights. So it's my privilege to help. And that's sort of the whole point of this project, meaning DCP, that for all the grants and awards we give, there's always some kind of mentorship component, and that's that sort of the format of younger people and more experienced people. You don't have to be young to be starting out, as you know, and you feed off each other. So when I saw your movie, I thought, wow, this the way you did that scene or the way it flowed, and I particularly liked, as I mentioned, this kind of very freestyle, informal, handheld base that the movie was sort of rooted in, and then there was moments where it was just very, very still and had a lot of power. So the point is that I get things out of seeing things that are made by people that have that kind of youthful vitality, and so it's a two-way street. So I'll look forward to learning from you too.
Cool. Wow.
Do you have something in mind? Is there something that's bubbling up at this moment, or you're like, are you ready to embark?
I think it's I think similar to what you were saying earlier, maybe a little too soon to talk about. It's in that precious little, at least publicly, like in a gooey stage. Mm-hmm. But I grew up in a military base in Japan. That's where from when I was 10 to 17. And so there's something in that that I'm really interested in exploring, and what it feels like to be a person that is from somewhere that is not their country. And then also there's this other place that exists inside of it that they don't have access to anymore, where all their memories and trauma and childhood exists. So yeah, very excited about, I think in the work that inspires me the most, whether it's theater or a role that I'm taking on. And I think the way that I think of my art is an expression of something that I'm either processing or going through. Which was very much of what Anchorage was. And I think finding ways that we can use art, it could be a sketch on a Saturday afternoon at a park, to express something that you're feeling, is the thing that really turns me on and makes me feel the most alive. And I feel like it's rooted in that thing that makes us all human, which, the more personal and the more specific you can get to your own experience, I think the more it reaches the entire world, because we're all the kind of made of the same stuff.
Well, it's interesting because the story of Anchorage, which I don't have any direct relationship to, meaning two addicted, slightly out of control characters,
Terrible.
sell drugs and driving across the country. But that's sort of the beauty of filmmaking and storytelling and art, that I still connected and related to them and saw little parallels of, things that I've experienced with my pals on a road trip, or ingredients that resonate. So anyway, it's just the beauty of art in general and filmmaking in particular that allows you to appreciate things and get insights from just from what you're making and how it resonates. And so I want to encourage everyone who's watching to go to Amazon Prime or iTunes or Vimeo or whatever it is, and go check out Anchorage, because it's really well done and part of a sort of canon of road trip movies, and also that you appreciate Two Lane Blacktop and Mickey and Nikki and
Thelma and Louise, all of them, California, like
good genre to
yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Well, Roman, thank you so much for all you've done to support this award.
Totally.
And Scott, congratulations to you and your entire team. That this is a day of celebration. Awesome for you guys. So I can't wait to see what's next. With this new project that you're going to be collectively supporting. And for those that may be just discovering Decentralized Pictures, go check us out, Decentralized.Pictures. There's some other live awards out there right now that you can submit to, and you don't even have to be a filmmaker. You can just be a film fan, and you can go out there, create an account, start reviewing projects, and contributing to the decentralized filmmaking process. So thanks again, gentlemen. Really appreciate your time and being on the Talent Cast today.
Congratulations, Scott. Nicely done. I'll look for it. We'll figure out how to connect when you're ready to do some chatting about what you're up to next.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you so much. Again, it's an incredible honor.
All right.
Thanks all. Take
care.
Thank you. Peace, guys.